Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my newest patron, Sandon F. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. Alright guys, the time has finally come. Tesla's FSD beta version 11, specifically 0.3.1, has now rolled out to some early beta testers. It's not just internal employees anymore. And yes, this is the new single stack neural network architecture that we've all been talking about for the past 6 months. In simple terms, the FSD beta that is for city streets will now also be used on the highways as well. We're going to drop in around the community and check out some of the first drives on 11.3.1, and I'll do my best to highlight some of the best clips so far. Overall, the feedback from the testers has been very positive. Ordinarily, with a big update like this, we should be expecting some regression in certain areas, and I'm sure there will be some. But the main overarching theme so far has been, it's very good. As we watch these clips, keep these things in mind. Look for the improved position of the vehicle in wider lanes by biasing in the direction of the upcoming turn so other cars can move around you if they're not turning as well. Improved handling during scenarios with high curvature in the road or large trucks by offsetting in the lane to maintain a safe distance. Keep your eyes out for these new text blurbs that will show up on the screen and communicate upcoming maneuvers that the FSD beta plans to do. As was shared by Dirty Tesla, you'll want to watch for the new notifications like this, stopping for a traffic light or a red light, and these new chevron logos in the blue path predictor that indicate the car is planning to slow down for an upcoming maneuver. These little things will give the driver in the vehicle more confidence in knowing how the vehicle is actually thinking. Even if you don't have the FSD beta and you never plan to get it, I think as a Tesla investor, it's obviously important to keep up with the progress of this technology because it is the unlock that will one day vault Tesla to a multi-trillion-dollar company. And there are many, but this is one of Tesla's biggest competitive advantages when it comes to solving real-world AI. Here we have a few clips from AI Driver who will not pull any punches if this technology is not performing well, so let's hear how he was reacting.
Another thing that appears more consistent, at least from this first drive, was the way it biases to the right of the or left of the road in stop signs when it's making a turn. Also a full, really full and complete stop there.
You may recall that one of the reasons Tesla had to recall the FSD software for a time was because it was doing rolling stops through a stop sign. So now it should be coming to a full stop at stop signs, which you can definitely argue is actually less safe. I guess that's government intervention at its finest.
Here we go again with another full and complete stop. It's almost like uncomfortable how long it stops for now, but I guess that's the NHTSA way. Also, you can see it creeping forward for visibility here and taking quite a while to get through that stop sign. Even another good example up here of the car biasing towards the right at this stop sign. Man, I've been waiting for this for so long. This makes it feel so much more human, except for coming to a full and complete stop for like 2 seconds. That's the only non-human part about that whole maneuver right there. I think earlier versions would struggle with this kind of thing a lot and it would kind of just stop. But this version seems to at least just take it a little bit slower. I do only have the maximum speed set to 10, but you can see it's even going slower than that in a lot of these cases. I really like that it's trying to take its time through here. Did get slightly closer to the right-hand side than I probably would have, but seems to be visualizing everything correctly in that visualization, so didn't feel the need to take over. Overall, I'd say pretty nicely done. Previous versions of the beta were not able to handle the road we're on right now because they get a little bit twisty ahead. Even at the speed limit, which is 25, it would run wide in the corners. But since part of the release notes say that it's supposed to be doing better at that, I tried it at 30. Consider me officially impressed. I really hope I'm not just hyping myself up because this is something brand new, but man, this feels like a pretty dramatic step forward in terms of overall smoothness and planning.
Here are some clips from Chuck Cook with a bit more traffic than AI Driver had in his videos. You'll also see the new disengagement feature that you can send an audible clip of feedback to Tesla so they can understand what happened in that disengagement better.
I'm in a turn lane, but you're saying I'm not in the 1 to 528. I'm disengaging just to get in the right lane. It wasn't going to be that aggressive, so that's why I disengaged. Was in the incorrect lane. So that time I pressed the voice annotation button on time, and I'm using the right blinker to change lanes to get over the easy pass route here. Since we changed destinations, I'm now using a different profile that does not have an offset programmed in. So this is maximum right at the speed limit. I can roll it up though. Let's see. There's just a scroll wheel up to 60. How fast will it let me go? There's 65, 70, 75, 85. 85 is still the max, guys. Now, if you notice that the speed limit sign glowed a little bit just then with a little blue outline on it, I believe that's new also.
So 2 things there. 1, you used to have the ability to have an absolute speed offset. So if the speed limit was 55, maybe you could set it to the absolute feature of 10 over, so you'd be at 65. There's also a percentage offset. So if it's at 10% and you're going 55, then of course you'd go 5.5 miles per hour over. Going forward, it looks like Tesla has removed the option for the absolute offset, so you will only have the ability to have a percentage offset. As Dirty Tesla pointed out, this new blue glow behind the speed limit sign will come up if you're going more than 50% over the posted speed limit.
My overall impression is this feels pretty good. I don't think the lane change, maneuvers, we saw it get in the wrong lane, or something transformational, but it did a pretty good job. In that one situation, it found itself in the NHTSA recall scenario where it was in a turn lane and it needed to get over. It did a really good job just leaving the blinker on and waiting for a gap.
Chuck was just talking about this one reason Tesla had to do that recall, how they handle maneuvers from a turn lane to actually continue traveling straight. These maneuvers will now be treated as a lane change where the turn indicator will be used to tell other people what's going on. Whereas before, sometimes the Tesla would just go straight through the intersection from the turn lane without signaling. We also get a quick auto park clip from Chuck.
Just sitting here in the parking lot, and this park button has shown back up for the first time in a while. And since we're on the single stack, I'm just going to go ahead and let it do it. To do a quick auto park here let's see how it does it. It feels kind of quick. Yeah. It felt a little faster. I don't know. This is the first time I've done auto park in a while because the P has not shown up at all. I think it did that pretty good.
Here we have Zach, who is definitely an unbiased tester, saying it was a huge success. 0 disengagements from West LA to Hawthorne. Did great on the highway around curves, freeway mergers, and city streets. Super stoked, it's getting good. Made it back from Hawthorne with 0 disengagements as well. Impressed, but more to come tomorrow with traffic.
All right, are we in a turn-only lane? Okay, so you notice the markings? I think we got to get out of this lane. Let's see if the car thinks so and uses I've got the painted markings up saying so. There it is.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Remember that yellow light situation that's supposed to be fixed?
It's almost like it has to draw its map as it turns. There's a yellow light. Oh, NHTSA would say you can't do that. Okay. Running yellow light. Don't you think the right decision there would have been to have stopped no matter what? I mean...
I watched this clip back many times. I think personally I may have tried to get through the intersection. Usually these lights at bigger intersections like this stay yellow for longer, but let me know what you think.
It's almost like it has to draw its map as it turns.
It just turned yellow at this point right now.
There's a yellow light. Oh, NHTSA would say you can't do that.
And as you can see, it's still yellow. And it just turned red right at this point after he had been braking for a bit. Definitely a small sample size so far, but again, most of the initial feedback is very positive. Of course, it's not perfect. Nobody should expect it to be. But with each passing month, Tesla just keeps on the march of the nines and improving things here, improving things here. And if you were to compare this to 2 or 3 years ago, you would see a stark difference. Australia has at least 250 planned battery developments with a potential capacity of 130,000 megawatt hours or 130 gigawatt hours, a pipeline that's second only to China. For context, Tesla's Lathrop factory, where it's producing its latest version of the Megapack, has a stated capacity of 40 gigawatt hours. Thus, this Australian battery storage project pipeline is more than a 3x of Tesla's stated factory capacity for its Megapack. So yes, the global demand for Tesla's Megapack is so far ahead of its production capacity right now. they will be selling them with no problem for years to come. A new YouTube channel to keep an eye on, Matthew Donegan Ryan. He was at Tesla's Investor Day, talked to Tom Zhu and some other execs, and he's been dropping some good information. He said the Tesla Semi does have the FSD hardware installed, but they are working on the software. Traffic-aware cruise control is active and other autonomous features are working, but he got no comment on auto steer. I think most importantly, Matthew said that Giga Mexico was going to be built alongside another Gigafactory. We talked about that last week. Then I had speculated, to keep our expectations low, that he just could mean the Giga Nevada expansion. But Matthew just said, Tom Zhu said, it will indeed be another new location. We can expect a new Gigafactory announcement in the next 3 to 6 months. So it sounds like Indonesia and Canada would be leading candidates, but anything is still on the table. Tom Zhu also said the benchmark for Model Ys coming off the line is 45 seconds. And currently in China, this time is 37 seconds. Berlin is 55 seconds. And Austin right now is the slowest factory, with the Model Y coming off the line every 75 seconds. So Shanghai is basically producing 2 Model Ys before Austin can produce 1. So plenty of room for improvement from Giga Austin. And Austin was indeed the Gigafactory that built Tesla's 4 millionth vehicle. And it happened to fall on Tesla's Investor Day. It wasn't a few weeks before, and they just saved the announcement. So I thought that was pretty cool. NHTSA opened a new investigation into Tesla. There were 2 Model Ys that had the steering wheel fall off while somebody was driving. You may have already seen this, as the incident took place at the end of January this year, but it's today that NHTSA has announced they opened an investigation, which is step 1 before a possible recall. If you read through the tweet thread, Tesla did end up replacing this couple's Model Y. NHTSA said both vehicles received an end-of-line repair requiring removal and reinstallation of the wheel. Apparently, a friction fit maintained the connection between the wheel and the column, and when there was so much pressure that it overcame that friction, it just came loose. Now we just wait to see if there's a recall of up to 120,000 Model Ys. There's plenty of chatter today about Tesla's next-generation vehicle, how it will operate almost entirely in autonomous mode. This coming from a quote that Elon had yesterday when he talked with Morgan Stanley. I'm pretty confident that's Elon's goal, but reality may not match. You may recall that Elon wanted the Model Y to not have a steering wheel. So this has kind of been his vision now for a few years. It just hasn't yet become a reality. So it's something to keep in mind, but I do not think that the first cars off the line from Giga Mexico will be without a wheel. I'm pretty confident they'll have a wheel at least for some time. I would also add, this doesn't necessarily indicate there's no wheel. He just said it'll operate almost entirely in autonomous mode. There could still be a wheel. Here we have a Wall Street Journal article. More than 15 months after GM began building the Hummer pickup, the company has been making roughly 12 per day, far below its targets. GM was also investigating a potential problem with water seeping into the battery pack. To date, GM has sold roughly 1,000 Cadillac Lyriqs since it began building them in March 2022. GM is aiming to produce 36,000 Lyriqs in the United States this year, so I'm throwing that into the prediction tracker. GM also says EV output will accelerate, especially in the second half of this year, but they said the same thing last year, so I don't think you can really take them at their word at this point. There's still a stop sale order for some of these Hummers in dealer inventory, and they declined to comment on when it would be lifted. What's that? You're implying that building electric vehicles is actually pretty difficult and a lot different than building ICE vehicles? Who would have thunk it? You can find me on Twitter at DylanLoomis22. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.